And welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Jesse with Connects High Performance, and today I got the thinking cap on, so you know what that means. It's another episode of Programming in Real Time, where I take your questions and create a program for you in real time. So let's get into it. So I'm really excited about this one. We are working with KB Hardy 05, and KB Hardy 05 is 48 years old, and she is an avid exerciser, but she hasn't been able to work out in a couple of years. She's had foot complications, and so her main goal, this is why I love this one, her main goal is to just be able to walk again and work out a little bit. So we're going to tackle this one as best we can with the information that she gave us. I do know she has a full gym at her house, including a cable machine, which is fantastic. That's going to be very helpful for when we program for KB Hardy 05. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Now, she wants to work out 7 days a week, and as we all know, sometimes it takes coaches to save the athletes from themselves. So that's exactly what we're going to do here today. We're not going to program for 7 days. We're going to be a little bit more conservative as she builds back her endurance, her muscular endurance, and cardiovascular endurance. We'll stick with 3 days a week of programming. So we're going to go day 1, and then a day 2, and then a day 3. We're going to stick with about 15 to 20 reps. And we're really trying to build up her muscular endurance and also cardiovascular endurance a little bit. So it's important for us to do some supersetting. We're going to do a superset type of workout. We're just going to do the traditional antagonist. Our rest intervals, again, we're going to try to rest less than 60 seconds. Rest interval. And now, again, with these high repetitions, we're not going to want to go any greater than 65% of her 1RMs. Okay, so that will be a good start. As always, we do want to warm up, increase the core temperature of the body. I'm not going to put that on here due to lack of space, and I always run out of space, so I'm just going to put warm up down here. All right, so let's start with day 1. Now, I do know that we're going to try to avoid as much on that foot as we can. So most of these things are going to be either kneeling or sitting, something where she's off her feet. We are going to target her feet a little bit because I want to build up some of the strength in that foot, but we'll get into that a little bit later. How we're going to structure this, we're going to do a total body every day. Okay, so she can get a lot of volume. Let's see, what we'll do though is day 1, we'll do a push, pull with lower body. And then day 2, we'll go into a pull, push, lower body. Push, lower body. Okay. Now, again, I want to do something dynamic for our very first exercise. We always talk about CNS primers. Let's start with some kind of as I said, a kneeling. We'll go with the kneeling muscle snatch. And then we'll superset that with, let's go with a kneeling plyo push-up. Okay, good start. Now we can get into some of the more compound, more isolated exercises. Again, I know she has a full gym in her house, so that'll be very helpful. All right, we'll start off fairly simple. Flat bench. for our initial push. Dumbbells. And then we can turn her around. Let's have her do a seated, bent over, supinated grip dumbbell row. This is why I run out of space. So we're going to go seated, bent over, supinated grip. Dumbbell row. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's work some of her trunk now. I still want to go with that pushing aspect, so we can do something like a floor seated. Overhead press, overhead dumbbell press, and an antagonist superset to that. And again, I know she has some cable, so we can incorporate possibly some cable lat pull downs. Okay. Number 4. All right, so we've got a straight push, a overhead push. Now let's go downwards, huh? What about a kneeling high, low chest fly? And then we can superset that with, say, a bent over row, bent over, bent over, okay, low to high, back fly. Okay, that would be good. Again, I love those cable machines. Okay, so we're pretty set with upper body push-pull. Let's work into some of that trunk work, some of that trunk rotation work. Very important. We can do, say, a pal-off press. The pal-off press, again, a lot of trunk stability, and then glutes get engaged when you're trying to stabilize yourself. So since that's already fired up, I want to get her moving a little bit so we can do some lateral walks. We'll do some banded lateral walks since the glutes are already fired up. And then we can also start prepping her foot for some work. Banded lateral walks. Walks. So that's good there. Okay, so since we are warming up her lower half with some of these walks, I do want to work more on her foot. I'm thinking let's get involved with some calf raises. We'll go body weight calf raises. Definitely not how you spell calf raise. C-A-L-F. Raises. And let's superset that. So if we do our calf raises, let's do, we can work her shin muscles, her tibialis anterior. Let's do some banded knee-ins. So let's do some supine knee-ins. And then we'll place the band on her feet. Banded. And that way we can work on dorsiflexion. Going to get a little bit of her antagonist of the calf, the tibialis anterior. Okay, great start so far. I do want to work the rest of her hips since we are working their abductors. Let's have her do some Copenhagen's. Great, great, great adductor exercise. And then since we're doing the adductors, again, might as well do abductors as well. So let's throw in a side plank. Up, downs. Boy, I run out of room a lot. Okay. All right, so that's good for day one. So day two, let's go back into it. We're going to do a pull, push, and lower body day. So we're going to focus on the pull first, and then the antagonist is going to be the push. So a good first one. Well, let's do our CNS primer first. Always important to get the CNS primer. This time we'll do a unilateral. In fact, we'll do a kneeling. We're going to run out of room, aren't we? Contralateral. Contra. Let's go with snatch. Contra snatch. Contralateral snatch. And we can superset that with a, because that's dealing with rotation in the transverse plane. Let's do a Russian twist. Boy, we are running out of room, fellas. Okay, now we can get into those isolation, more compound things. Again, it's a pull day, so what better way to start a pull day than cable face pull. Plus overhead press. We will superset that with a close grip. Push up. Three. Okay, so now we need another pulling exercise. I'm thinking more from top down. So with the cables that we have access to, let's go with a kneeling uni high row. Kneeling uni high row. Okay. And then so that'll be good there. And then we will come back with a superset of a standing cable high low press. Let's go standing high low press. Okay, number 4. So more chest, or excuse me, more back. I'm thinking we can go with a chest supported dumbbell row. It's pretty slick, huh? How I made that into a B. Okay. And we'll superset that. Because we are already at an incline for that row, turn that into an incline chest press, dumbbell chest press. Incline. dumbbell press. So next we've got more trunk work that we want to get accomplished. So I'm thinking more twisting. Let's go with some kneeling twists. Kneeling cable twist. And then because we have that transverse plane, that rotation there from the top half, why don't we superset that with a supine windshield wipers. Okay. Now we're going into 6. Okay, so I do again want to get into like the foot area of the lower leg complex. I'm thinking we can do a unsupported heel. Supported heel. Squats. Now with that, even though the heel is unsupported, we can have her hold on to a bench or her cable machine. That way we can support a lot of her body weight and not have to worry about too much load on that foot. So unsupported heel, supported squats. Okay. All right. 7. And let's see. So we were doing a lot of her glutes, Copenhagen side planks on day 1. So day 2, let's get more of her maximal glute. Let's get the low back and maximal glute. I am thinking reverse hypers. Off the bench. And then we're going to superset that bad boy. Since we're already on the bench, we can probably just have her flip around and do some leg lifts on the bench. Leg lifts. Okay. All right. On to day 3. Okay, so I know I'm going to have to erase that because we're going to run out of room. All right, day 3. So day 3, we're going to make it a little bit more dynamic, make her move a little bit more. Day 3. As I said, we're going to go with the dynamic and lower isos. Lower body isos. Okay, let's get her started. Again, got to warm up. After the warm up, we'll go into number 1. So I'm thinking let's strengthen up the calf a little bit more, add some load, but without moving it through a full range of motion. So here we're going to be a little bit more careful, kind of work the tissue in the foot. We're going to go with an ipsy lateral dumbbell calf. It's late. I can't spell. Calf. Dumbbell calf isometrics. Again, I don't want to move the foot. I just want to place a little bit load in an isometric so we can kind of work some of the soft tissue in the area. So that's why we're going with isos. So number 2. So now we can start working the leg a little bit more. I'm going to suggest to her some uni-leg, so single leg RDLs basically. Uni-leg dumbbell RDL. We're going to go with 2 of those dumbbells. RDL. Looks like a Q. Man, raced a lot today. R, D, L. Okay. And then we're going to try to get some quad activation here. Let's do a supported pistol to the box. So she's going to support her body weight, and then she's going to come all the way down, sit down on a box or a bench. Something where we can limit her range of motion and actually take a lot of stress off the foot if we can. All right, so number 3. So number 3, I'm thinking let's get some more of that dorsiflexion going. So hopefully she has some mini bands. We'll do a mini band, high knees. And then, since that would be more of her flexion of her hips, we're gonna go some extension. So can't do a lot of load, but what we'll have her do is we'll go unilateral foot elevated hip extensions. So let's see, uni, front foot elevated, hip extensions. Okay. So number 4. Okay, so now I want to move a little bit more dynamically. So we got a lot of isometrics going on here. One thing that I absolutely love are anything that works the kinetic chain. So we're gonna have her do some overhead dumbbell overhead marches. Okay, and then we can superset that. I'm hoping she has some med balls, so we'll assume that she does. We'll go med ball slams. So this one, we're really working into her trunk stability through the overhead marches, and then with the slams, obviously we're going to get some trunk flexion there. Shoulders will be probably burning on both of these, so that's always a good thing. 5. Let's see. Now I really want to work on having her clamp down on her foot. Nothing too loaded. I'm thinking let's go with a unilateral, basically 1 foot. Uni iso lunge. So yeah, let's switch that up. See, change my mind every now and then. Okay, so let's do a unilateral standing, or we'll say standing unilateral halos. Okay, that could be a challenging one. And we'll go both sides with that halo. So that's a very challenging one. She'll enjoy that with her shoulders. With the hands above her head and rotating around her head, it's going to cause a lot of instability that her foot's going to really kind of clamp down onto the ground to try to keep her stable and supported. So we'll kind of work the leg a little bit that way. Okay, we're going to try, since we spent most of the time on this day doing dynamic movements, let's go ahead and finish up with some isolation movements. Let's go with bench. We're going to go with a prone. This will help any general population. We're going to go with a prone dumbbell Y press. And so what that is she's going to set the bench up to an incline, lay flat on her belly, and take a couple of dumbbells, and then she's going to press those over her head. Y press. And then we'll super that. Let's go with the good old dumbbell W's. So we're really going to work on some of that posterior shoulder girdle. So when people sit down in chairs a lot and hunched over on the computer or writing, a lot of times we lose the strength in our posterior shoulder girdle. So doing a prone dumbbell press and a W will help offset that. And last but not least, let's do something direct. So she has cables, so let's do a supine cable bicep. Goodness gracious. Cable biceps curl. And because she already has the bench set up at that incline, let's have her do a, for her triceps, chest supported dumbbell triceps kickback. Oh, we went all out on that one. Okay. All right, so we've got all that. Let's just talk about the warm-up real quick. I think she has a recumbent bike at home, I believe. Could be a fan bike. I'm hoping it's a recumbent bike. So let's see. We're just going to have her do the bike a couple of minutes, recumbent bike. Don't need a lot here. We're going to go 2 to 5 mins. Okay, so this is going to be a very tough one. Again, she's going to be doing 15 to 20 repetitions with roughly around 60 seconds of rest between the supersets. We don't want to go very heavy. We're going to stay less than 65% of her 1 rep max. We're going to include some isometrics, mostly on the dynamic day. But other than that, it's a good solid start for her. And that about wraps it up. I hope KB Hardy 05 enjoys her new workout. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And hopefully you'll share, like, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And if you want to be featured in the next episode, comment below or contact me and give me some details on what your background is in fitness and also what your goals are. And maybe you could be featured on the next episode. So thanks again for joining me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.